The loss of intimacy in a relationship is real, and women have it and men experience it. When women have it, it seems like they're better at identifying it. It's the first thing they identify because their intimacy is very tied in to how they feel about things. Guys lose theirs gradually. Guys sometimes are in denial about losing it. And since most of my clients are men, I want to address what a loss of intimacy looks like in men, the 5 things that cause it. Because I think a lot of times when relationships start falling apart, women assume that they're not enough physically or they aren't pretty enough. And although that's the first assumption, and it can be one of the leading things if he's not attracted to the person anymore. However, I think more than not, it's other things going on for him that he is not aware of. And so hopefully as you listen to this, you'll start going over these 5 in your mind and finding more relevance about maybe where you are on the whole spectrum. The first one, no physical attraction. When the two of you were first together, there was so much physical attraction. You loved each other's bodies and you made love. But as the relationship goes on, many times men lose interest. Maybe the person they're with stops taking care of themselves as much. Maybe they lose interest because their partner is no longer interested in sex. They're interested in other things. I think one way that you can bring this back is to talk to your partner about this, about how you feel like the two of you have lost that attraction, that passion. Because I have many videos about how to get your passion back, and it begins by holding hands. It begins with honest communication, phones off, looking each other in the eyes, and talking about ways you can restore that in the bedroom, trying new things on date nights, and basically touching each other more outside the bedroom is going to help start rebuilding this emotional attraction. Secondly, not being spontaneous. Many times in a relationship, a committed relationship, women get ideas about how things should go and they organize their life and they like things planned out. It's easier if you have children, if you're both working, everybody needs a plan. But when you have a plan, many times if you veer from that plan, you lose the fun, you lose the spontaneity. If your partner messes up and you aren't able to play with that, oh my gosh, like for example, maybe the baby spills their milk or their bowl of cereal. And if you're on a mission to get the whole kitchen cleaned, you're going to be upset that that happened. But what about if your partner picks up that bowl and starts eating out of it or does something that normally would crack you up? Being able to be flexible in a moment of a mistake and switch on the spontaneity at that time is going to help you start finding that intimacy again, that emotional closeness that's so important to your relationship. Thirdly, chronic stress. We know that a lot of times guys are taught to be stoic, to just buff up. When you complain or you talk about the stress you have, your partner may see you as a child. They may treat you as a child. And you start feeling less of a man and more of like one of the kids or somebody that somebody else has to take care of or mother. It's important that when you're feeling stressed, you have outlets, guys, that you can go shoot hoops, or you can go for a run, or you can talk to your friend, or you can have just a talk night with your partner about the stress you're going through and find ways, brainstorm together about how you can alleviate that stress. What's stressing you out? What are some thoughts? Try a meditation class, try a yoga. But more than anything else, don't deny that you have the stress, because we know stress leads to a loss of intimacy. It leads to numbness. It leads to drinking more, to carousing more, to all these other behaviors that your marriage will not be able to sustain. Why take and break a whole marriage if it's something you can fix independently? Health problems. more guys struggle with heart disease, with different illnesses, diabetes, bad diet, alcoholism, you name it, smoking. The rates are outrageous for men, and many of the reasons they do this is the stress. But they also have a hard time taking time for themselves to redo their life. They don't like changing lifestyles. It's disruptive, and most men are focused on work. Well, maybe not most, but many. They're the provider. That is drilled into their head. They have to provide and protect for their family. But in order to do that, you guys need to take care of your health. You cannot take care of your family and your other responsibilities if you're not going to the doctor, if you're not doing due diligence in the gym, if you're not taking care of what goes into your mouth, what you're drinking. So this is where it begins. Health problems happen, and they affect your mood, and they cause a loss of emotional connection with your partner. And lastly, disagreements. One thing I have learned working with men is when men are upset, it takes them longer to calm down. I know the movies would tell us otherwise. You see women weeping and crying. We know what? That's healthy. Actually, we know crying lowers stress and boosts immune systems. Guys don't always have that advantage. Society has been harder on men when they cry. So we know when guys get into disagreements, their heart rate is higher, thus making them need to win. It's part of that testosterone too, guys. Part of any fight is your incensed need to win. It feels like it's driving you. You sometimes just don't even care. But because of this competition, which is coming from a hormone, it's testosterone, you start thinking, okay, how can I win this? How can I get out of this? How can I stop this? The most important thing is that you learn to breathe, that you learn to let go, that you tell your partner when we get into a disagreement, when I start feeling triggered or I start feeling like my heart rate's going up and I can't calm down, I'm going to give you a signal, like maybe it's a timeout or a circle or a stop sign, whatever. That tells your partner, I need a break. I'm going to leave this conversation for a while. I'll come back. This is taking care of you. This is what self-care for men looks like. A loss of intimacy, of disconnect, can make men not only physically sick, but it can make you guys emotionally ill too. So it's important that you learn to advocate for yourself so you can talk to your partner. Tell them how you're feeling in a safe, quiet, one-on-one place. And then the two of you brainstorm something together that will work better in the better interests of you and your relationship.